Okay, we are live. This is my very first YouTube live. I'm excited to be here. I want to start doing these live videos just as sort of a way that I hold myself accountable for my own personal goals, but also to help you in your own journeys, your own healthy lifestyle journeys, and whatever it is that you might be working on, what's important for you at this point in your life. So today, what I wanted to do is talk about how to start your fitness journey. So I am restarting my fitness journey. I've got a few videos here on YouTube. I post a lot about this on my Instagram and my Facebook, and I wanted to share with you some of the things that I'm doing to restart my own personal fitness journey. And if you are like me, where you're restarting your fitness journey or you want to get started on your own fitness journey, here are some of the things that I have found extremely helpful for just getting back in sort of that groove, that mindset, that routine of living a healthy lifestyle. So, just as a little bit of a backstory, I've always been really into fitness and working out. And 2010, 2011, I started getting more into learning about nutrition and got into bodybuilding, doing fitness competitions, that kind of thing. So I started learning a lot more about the nutrition side of things. And I've always done really good. I've always been in really good shape. And I had a little bit of a setback in January of 2023 where I broke my tibia and fibula, that's your shin bones. I broke them both completely in half, and then I broke them again closer down towards my ankle. And I broke them while I was hiking. And I still need to make a video about it. It's actually kind of hard to watch some of the footage. I got airlifted off a mountain by a helicopter. And it is kind of hard to watch some of that footage, and I think it's important to have it in the video. So I will at some point make a video about that. But I was in probably the best shape of my life when I broke my leg in January of 2023. I certainly wasn't the lightest weight. I was actually probably one of the heaviest weights of my life, but I was in probably the best shape of my life. I could, at any given moment, if a friend contacted me and said, let's go out for a 15 or 16-mile hike, let's go. Like, I didn't have to prepare for it. I was ready. I was ready to do it. I was lifting weights in the gym. I was doing all the things to maintain a strong, healthy, balanced life. I was sleeping well, hydrating myself, eating all the right foods. And then as a result of that injury, I ended up gaining some weight. I've since taken that weight off. But I'm really starting to get back to that sort of, I call it the hashtag fit life. And I kind of gave it a little bit of a break during the summer of 2020. And then I got back to it. And then I had this major setback. So what I wanted to do is let's talk about what I've done to get back into that healthy lifestyle and back into that routine of a healthy lifestyle. And these are things you can do if you're just getting started, or if you're like me, or a little bit later in your 40s, 50s, whatever, and you just want to get back to it. You want to get back to who you were. Maybe in your 20s, maybe in your 30s, or maybe you've never been there and you want to get there. So these are the things. I've got some notes here on a Post-it note. So if I'm looking down, that's what you see me looking at. So the first is to set realistic goals. I think that for myself, I'm very much a type A, go get them, overachiever type of person. And I like to set what's, in the business world, sometimes they're called stretch goals, where you have this goal, this more realistic goal, but then you give yourself a stretch goal saying, I think the saying is something like, if you shoot for the moon, but if you miss, you're going to land among the stars, or something, something like that, right? Like you're going to try to overshoot your goals. In this particular case, when you're coming back from an injury, you're coming back from an illness, you're getting back into a healthy lifestyle from some sort of a break, a hiatus, you've been busy with other things in life. Again, you're cleared by your doctor to do all this stuff. The first thing is to really just set realistic goals. And sometimes you don't know how to set that realistic goal. You don't know what's realistic. And that I never understood. I didn't understand that because I've always been the kind of person, like, if I just put my mind towards something, I will make it happen. Okay. I don't always necessarily know how long it's going to take me to do it, but I know that I'll make it happen. And when I broke my leg, it was 16 weeks, 12 weeks to the day that I was supposed to do a pretty major hike down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. And I told my doctor, I told my physical therapist, I told everybody, I need to be ready to do this hike. And they were all just like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, I will do everything you tell me to do. Not understanding that there's certain healing processes that need to happen in the body that I just can't speed up. No matter how much I drink water, no matter how much protein I eat and vegetables and fruits and doing all the physical therapy and stuff, there's just certain things you can't speed up. So setting realistic goals is really important as you're coming back to a fitness journey. And so you might need some help from somebody else and figuring out what a realistic goal is. Saying to yourself, I'm going to lose 30 pounds in 2 months, probably not realistic. You want to make sure that you're not setting yourself up for disappointment and failure. So the first is to set those realistic goals and just really have an honest look at where you are in your lifestyle, in your journey. You want to get back to some of the things that you've been doing. Sure, you can get back there, but give yourself some grace, give yourself some time. So if you say to yourself, I want to be able to run a 5K, say to yourself, I'm going to run a 5K. I'm going to do all the things I need to do to do the 5K, but be flexible in how long that takes you. Because as we get a little bit older, sometimes things just take a little bit more time, and that's okay. We're really focusing on being consistent. The second is to figure out what is the right routine for your lifestyle. And, if you've been away from fitness for 5 years, 10 years, whatever it may be, even 2 years, your life may be different than what it was when you were doing all of the things, and things might have changed. So for example, when I was doing fitness competitions, I was working in a school, 60 hours a week, 55, 60 hours a week. And so I had to do a lot of meal prepping. I had to do a lot of planning. I had to do a lot of scheduling. My life was very rigid. It was very structured. And I had to bring all of my food with me every single day. And now I work from home. So I have a little bit more flexibility in, I don't necessarily need to meal prep all the time. And, eating eating leftovers all the time gets kind of gross and boring and yucky, right? So I'm very thankful that I work from home and that I can prepare meals as I need to. So that might not work for you. Maybe you still, you work outside of the home, you need to leave every day, you need to go somewhere. You want to make sure that you're figuring out what is your lifestyle like right now and what's going to work for you. One piece of advice that I always got from my coaches when I was doing fitness competitions was to get up in the morning and do your workouts right away in the morning and get them over with. And I think that's a really good piece of advice because majority of people are still sleeping. You're probably not going to be bothered yet by work emails, by people bothering you, texting you, Facebook, all that kind of stuff, right? But for some people, morning workouts just don't work. They just don't work in your schedule. Somebody who might be working, 4 a.m. to noon, trying to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to do a workout might be a little bit difficult. So the best time to work out is when it's going to work for you. And that is something that's really changed in my perspective, is that it's not always just get up. We're not all getting up at 4 a.m. and going to the gym. You got to figure out what is the right routine for your lifestyle and the way things are for you right now. And that might not mean you get to work out every day. It might mean that you get to do 2 or 3 workout sessions a week, weightlifting sessions a week, or maybe you get to go to yoga 2 or 3 times a week, whatever it might be. You've got to figure out what works in your lifestyle right now, understanding that you're in a particular season of life and things are going to change maybe 6 months from now, a year from now, whatever that may be. The third thing is to really focus on nutrition and meal planning. So like I said earlier, I do work from home now, so I'm able to get away with a little less meal prep. I can make my meals just sort of as I need them, but I do cook things like meat and rice, quinoa, grains, things like that. I do cook those in bulk so that I have them ready to go. So I just can, I can either heat them up on the stove real quick. I try not to heat things up too much in the microwave, but it is certainly a convenience factor there. So sometimes I'll just throw things in the microwave, heat them up, and I've got them ready to go. And what I would like to do is, I don't have my calendar here right in front of me for that, but I think in September, I'm planning a workshop on how I do meal planning and how the strategy might work for you. And I'm very much a person that I eat off of my cravings. Sometimes I'm craving chicken, sometimes I'm craving salmon, sometimes I'm craving chocolate. And so I very much eat off of my cravings, but knowing that I have these very specific things that I try to meet each day. So one thing would be is meeting my protein goals for the day. So what I try to do is I try to eat my goal body weight in protein per day. So let's just say for ease of numbers, if you want to weigh 150 pounds or you do weigh 150 pounds, you eat 1 gram of I'm sorry, 150 grams of protein per day. That's not 150 grams of chicken. It's 150 grams of protein. All right. And so I'm going to do a workshop. I think it's in September, or October, on just how do you do meal planning? How do you figure out, what and when to eat? And then, how do you simplify that? How do you make it so you just make the plan and then you execute it? Okay. So I think that nutrition and meal planning is really important as you're coming back to a healthy lifestyle, because you might not feel it day one, but if you start eating the right foods, you start eating proteins and plants. This is really where I focus, is proteins and plants, and along with some grains. You start eating that and a week goes by, 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks go by, and suddenly you're like, wow, I feel really good. Like, I feel strong, I feel healthy, I have a lot of energy, I feel really good. And I want that for you. I want that for you to just feel good again about just having that energy and that strength and just feeling like you can conquer the world. And that really comes from your nutrition. It comes from sleep. It comes from hydration. Working out and movement, all this stuff, that's great. And that's certainly a huge part of this. But I think the foundation of this is really, what is it that you're putting in your mouth? Okay. And so nutrition and meal planning is a big piece to restarting your journey or getting started on your fitness journey. The fourth thing is how to stay motivated and accountable. Now, this is something that I think a lot of people struggle with, myself included, and it's that daily motivation. And motivation is only going to be there for a short period of time. When you get started with something, you're excited about it. You're excited to get started. You're excited about your goals. But then it gets hard. 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, it gets hard. I used to be a college professor and a dean at a university and a college vice president. And I worked with people that were going to college. And think about it, if you're 30 years old and you've decided to go to college for the next 4 years, like that's a long time. When you're 18 years old, you decide to go to college for the next 4 years. That's a long time. Okay, so you're really super motivated at the very beginning, but as soon as it starts getting tough, you lose that motivation. Okay, so you really got to have the sort of the end goal in mind and keep that in your forefront. Like, what is the end goal? Now, your fitness journey is something that's never done, but you can set those short-term goals. Going back to setting those realistic goals, what is that short-term goal that you're working towards? So when that motivation starts waning, you can go, okay, well, this is the goal I have. I want to keep working towards it. So for example, for myself, I am training to hike the Grand Canyon. I absolutely love hiking, always have since I was a little girl. And in order to hike the Grand Canyon, that is a hike that you have to train for. It's a 24-mile hike, reverse mountain. You go down and then you come back out, versus a mountain, you go up and then down, right? And I think that for myself, setting that goal, I set that goal back in February or March. I'm hiking it in October. And having that goal it's gotten me up out of bed in the mornings to go do my training. It's kept me on track with eating the right things. It's kept me on track with my hydration. It's kept me on track with my sleeping, things like this. So having that sort of shorter term goal has really helped with that motivation. And then accountability. It's always helpful to have a group of people that can hold you accountable for your goals. You don't have other people telling you what your goals are. You decide what your goals are, but sometimes it's helpful to have friends who are holding you accountable to your goals. And I do have a Facebook group. It's called Vibrant Balanced Living, just like the name of this YouTube channel. And in that Facebook group, I'm trying to create a community of women who are just sort of on the same journey. We're over 40, we've got goals and we want to share them. We want to share our wins. We want to share our successes. We want to share some of the things that we're struggling with, and we can help hold each other accountable in there. So if you want to join that Facebook group, I've got the link in the description for you, or you can just search on Facebook for Vibrant Balanced Living. It's a very small community. We're growing and I'm excited to have it there. But I think accountability is a really big piece to achieving your goals. And now one thing that I teach is how to hold yourself accountable to things. Now, certainly it's, that outside accountability 100% helps. We all need it. We all need it. But you also want to learn how to start holding yourself accountable for your own goals. And one thing that I do, and somebody had asked about this on Facebook yesterday, And one thing I do, I have a paper calendar. This is just like from like the Phoenix Children's Museum, right? It's the Phoenix Children's Museum. They send you these in the mail for donating money, that kind of stuff. And what I do is I write on there every single day what I did. It's not my plan, it's what happened. Okay. It is the holding myself accountable. And if I look at this and go, oh, I didn't put anything in on that day, did I miss that day? Did I just forget to write it down? What did I do here? So I write this in every single day, what I accomplished for that day. And you can do this really for anything. So I put my workouts in here. My workouts are what's very important to me right now. I feel like I've got nutrition and all that other kind of stuff handled. And right now it's my workouts. So I write my workouts on here. But like, let's say you're like, I really need to focus on getting better sleep. Okay. So you get yourself a tracker that helps you track your sleep, and then you can figure out a system that works for you. Maybe it's a calendar, maybe it's just looking in the app and tracking how much sleep you're getting every single night, and maybe what your sleep score is. Okay. So if sleep is just something that you're really struggling with, maybe that's what you do. Okay. So that is one way that I hold myself accountable, is I have this and I write in it. And I used to actually keep it in the bathroom because I would see it every single day. I have my own sink in the bathroom, and so I would just keep it right there. That's where I would see it every day. But now, since I am at home all day, and I just keep it in my kitchen, on my kitchen table, because I walk past it all day. I walk past it and see it all the time. So it's right there in front of me, and it's kind of this reminder of that I'm holding myself accountable to this goal. So the fourth thing there is really just, keeping yourself motivated and holding yourself accountable, but then also maybe having a community of women who are on the same journey help hold you accountable. And it doesn't have to be my Facebook group. It can be a friend who's doing something similar with you, and you're holding each other accountable to your goals. And it's not like saying, hey, did you do this today? But like, we have a group chat, and we all kind of just shared, this is what we did today. These are the hikes that we completed. This is the workout that I did. Really just sharing your successes is kind of a way to hold yourself accountable. And then the last thing is really thinking through some of the common obstacles and setbacks and being prepared for them before they happen. I think that, nothing is perfect. A healthy lifestyle journey is a journey. There's no end to it. All right. And it's not perfection. I try to limit the amount of processed sugar I eat. But you know what? My friend across the street had a bundt cake in her freezer that was calling my name. So I ate it. Like, it was wonderful. It's one of those little like muffin cakes or whatever, but it was wonderful. So it's about balance there, right? But understanding that it's one cupcake. I'm not eating a week's worth of cupcakes. Okay. I get to enjoy it and move on with my life. All right. So when you were thinking about some of these common obstacles, and some of those things are going to be you're out of your routine. I know for myself, when I get out of my routine, that's a common obstacle. That's where I'm just like, I get all like, right? So thinking about, when do you get out of your routine? You get out of your routine when your schedule changes, you're traveling, maybe you have a doctor's appointment or something that just doesn't normally happen throughout your day. Being prepared for those kinds of things. So, so what do I do? I've got certain things that I can take with me as far as like snacks and treats to keep me satisfied while I'm, at the doctor, or while I'm traveling. Or maybe it's just a time I choose that, I'm going to be on an airplane for 6 hours. We're going to call this a 6-hour fast, right? Rather than eating the stuff on the airplane, things like that. So thinking through and giving a hard look to some of the things that throw you, off your kilter, that just totally derail you. Sit through and think through what some of those things are, and then what you can do to get yourself back on the train tracks. Okay, so you've been derailed. How do you get yourself back on the train tracks? Or how do you just try to not get totally derailed in the first place? Okay, so there's two things there. Is how can we just totally not get derailed? But if we do get derailed, how do we get back on track? All right, so that takes a lot of inner reflection, self-reflection, and sitting through and thinking through, like, what is it that really throws me off? And for myself, it's when I'm outside of the routine. I get out of the routine, and all hell breaks loose, and then I got to get back on just get back on the bandwagon, right? So, okay, so the things that we talked about are setting realistic goals, creating the right routine for your lifestyle in this moment, understanding that your life is a season. Things are going to change. They're going to change 6 months from now. They're going to change 2 years from now, 10 years from now. Your life isn't always going to look the same. So figure out what is the right routine for your lifestyle right now. The third thing is nutrition and meal planning, and stay tuned. I've got, like I said, I got a workshop planned on that. And then, how do you keep yourself motivated? How do you keep yourself accountable? And then thinking through those common obstacles and setbacks that are going to happen. The holidays are coming up. That Halloween candy is going to be all over the stores. These things are going to happen. So what are you going to do beforehand to make sure you stay on track? And then if you get off track, how do you get back on? Okay. So again, I do have a Facebook group called Vibrant Balanced Living. It's for women over 40 who are just on a similar journey of healthy lifestyle, fitness, all those good things. So I encourage you to join that Facebook group. I've got a couple things planned. Like I said, I've got a workshop planned on nutrition and meal planning. I'm working on a 7-day healthy habits challenge that will be free. And I don't have it ready just yet, but if you're watching this video in the future, I will come back to this video, add the link to that challenge in the description. So just watch for that. And I'm pretty excited about that because I have certain habits that I teach, and I call it the balance method. And what we're going to do is we're going to work through each one of those healthy habits. You're going to pick one for that particular week. That's all. You're just going to pick one that you're going to work on. We're not going to try to change everything. We're not going to try to boil the ocean, right? We're going to pick one. So I'm pretty excited about that. So again, watch for that link. It's coming. If you're watching this video in the future, check back and we'll have that available for you. So this is my first live stream. I really hope that that this works. I tried this yesterday from my phone and I did have some technical difficulties. So I'm hoping that we can do these. These are super easy for me to do. I don't have to edit. I don't have to upload. I don't have to do all that stuff. I can get more great information out there for you. And again, I'm just glad to have you here and hope to see you soon. And I'll be back tomorrow. Don't know what time yet, but I'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day.